How can you give feedback after a presentation has just ended? How can you give feedback? Can it be difficult to provide honest feedback? It is normally not difficult to provide honest feedback or positive feedback to people doing well or in general. Feedback is very important as it lets the speaker know how you have received the information.
Ma'am,
Yes,
ma'am, it is difficult to accept an honest feedback.
if you give an honest feedback and that is a negative, that means you are talking about a negative feedback. If even if you are giving a negative feedback, you have to give it in honey words, not vinegar words. For example, you can offer a solution in the form of feedback. Feedback should suggest ways of resolving any problems. Okay, if you do not like certain points, then you can give your solution. That is the way. There is little or no point in offering negative feedback when there is no way that the person can improve. So you should always offer a solution. Always deliver the feedback face to face. You should be specific when delivering a feedback. For example, feedback should highlight specific events or examples rather than just general advice. Okay. You should be specific while giving feedback. And it should also be specific about what the person did. And you should avoid using words like always or never or all. You should be always specific. Do not generalize. You should be sensitive while delivering the feedback because this is a simple reminder that feedback, even negative, should be delivered in a positive way rather than simply attacking the other person. Okay, Yasir?
Yes, ma'am.
You should be problem oriented, not people oriented. Feedback should focus on issues, person's uniqueness, and information. And feedback should be helpful to the receiver and directed towards behavior which the receiver can do something about. And feedback is useful when it is well timed. You should always deliver the feedback face to face and soon after the presentation or the behavior. Okay. It should include recommendations or improvement. So, what do you think is the importance of giving feedback? It is important to give feedback as it will act as a supportive and encouraging statement to the speaker. Feedback can also be reinforcing. If given properly, feedback is most always appreciated and motivates people to improve. Honest feedback can also strengthen the credibility of the practice educator. Okay, so this is the importance of giving feedback. And we have discussed how should you give a feedback. And this is from the book that I had shared in the last class. Okay. I had shared a PDF of communication skills. Okay, you can refer from that book to that book. Okay. So I can ask you a question in the exam like what is the importance of giving a feedback and how should you give feedback? How can you develop your questioning skills? After giving feedback, you can also ask questions. Okay, so there are two types of questions. Have you the habit of asking question after a presentation? If you ask questions, what happens when you ask questions? For example, there are about 200 students sitting, okay, in a conference, and the speaker has ended, and the speaker then asks, if you have any questions, you can ask. The floor is open for the questions. So, how many of you have the habit of asking questions? And if you ask questions, what happens? If you ask questions, it makes you differentiate from the crowd. Okay, all eyes are forwarded towards you, are focused on you. So there are two types of questions. One is open question and the other is a closed question. An open question allows the person to answer in whatever way they choose. For example, you can ask, how are you finding writing up your case study report? So the speaker can answer this question in any way he like. And a closed question asks for specific information or a yes/no response. An example is, have you completed your case study report? Okay, so I have given you the difference between an open-ended question and a closed-ended question. I'm repeating, an open-ended question and open question allows the person to answer in whatever they choose. A closed question asks for a specific information or a yes/no response. Okay. So open questions encourage people to talk, open up and expand. They can serve to loosen up the flow of ideas and are useful when you are interested in gaining the widest possible response from the speaker or the student or the teacher. These are used during the time of the interview. And closed questions are likely to encourage short answers. What is the what are the two importances of these two types of questions? An open question helps to loosen up the flow of ideas. These are useful when you are interested in gaining the widest possible response. Okay. They are useful in an interview situation where the kind of answer that the person delivers can reveal much about the person's personality. Meanwhile, closed questions are more likely to encourage short answers. They are useful when you want to establish facts and check on details. Okay. And inexperienced workers often ask too many closed questions, especially in interviews. Okay, when you have to ask closed questions and when you have to ask open questions. Can you tell me, Harsh? Have you understood the difference between an open question and a closed question? Can anyone tell me the difference between an open and a closed question?
Yes, ma'am.
Go, Urfa.
Yes, ma'am. An open-ended question is which you cannot answer just by saying yes or no. And a closed-ended question is that in which you can answer by just saying a yes or a no.
And open questions are asked when you want to know more about that subject or topic. When you are interested in gaining more information. And if you are asking an open question, then you can know you can know about the speaker's personality by focusing on their non-verbal aspects, and they can include their personal information, personal details in order to explain certain questions. And these questions, open questions, are usually asked during an interview. Okay, when you are going for an interview, they are going to ask you open questions so that they can judge your personality. Can you think of the questions that you can ask? Can you recall a event where the speaker was delivering a lecture? And can you think of questions that can be asked? So when you have to recognize a close-ended question, you can recognize easily because it starts with words or phrases like do, is, can, could, will, would, shall, should. For example, if the question is like, did the lunchtime seminar go okay? The answer is yes or no. Okay. Yes, more or less. Okay, and the same question can be asked with a open style. Okay, from if someone is asking the same question in an open style, it will help gather much more detail from the student. For example, how did you feel about the lunchtime seminar? Now, this is an open question. So you can answer, well, actually, I felt a little bit lost. The speaker was talking about an area that I haven't covered yet in the course. I was wondering whether I need to know about that at this stage. Should I be reading up on it? Okay. So this open question, in this open question, you can answer a lot. Okay. It's not just a yes and no type question, or it is not just about checking a fact. So you see, in this answer that is delivered, we can judge the student, okay, that he felt lost, and that he told that this topic has not been covered in the course yet. So this topic should be covered in the course. What is the importance of this topic? And he's still thinking that should he be reading on this topic or not. Okay, so you can notice the difference between these two questions. Did the lunchtime seminar go okay? This is the close question. The student is answering, well, yes, more or less. Yes, more or less. Okay. He's not sure already how this seminar go. A little more from not being okay. Okay. And when the same question was asked in an open style, how did you feel about the lunchtime seminar? Then he revealed a lot about his personality. He revealed something about his teacher, about the course, about his mind, what he's thinking. He's confused whether he should be reading up on this topic or not. And as I have given you the words like how like do, is, can, could, will, would, shall, should. If these words come at first, that means this is an closed question. And if the words like how, why, when, where, what, who, which, when the question starts with these words, then it is a open-ended question, open question. Okay, so the difference between asking open and closed questions seems straightforward and easy to grasp. we tend to, I had asked you to think of the questions that you would be asking after attending a seminar. I had asked you to recall a seminar and think of the questions. So we usually think more direct, think about the direct and closed version of the questions. A closed question are more useful when you want to establish or clarify certain facts. And if you ask more closed questions like 3 4 closed questions, then it sounds like as if you are interrogating the speaker. Sometimes both types of questions are necessary for encouraging meaningful communication and gathering the information that you are interested in. For example, there is a situation here between a father and a daughter. The father says that I have been asking my daughter Rihan what she did at school today. There are times when Rihan can be as uncommunicative as any child, and this was one of them. So he asked, "What did you do in school today, Rihan?" And the answer is, "Nothing much." Dad, she says, "I'm sure you did. Did you do any painting then?" Rihan says, "Yes." "Great. You love painting. What did you paint?" Then the answer comes, "Lots of trees. We went out on an expedition in the morning and we found out what different types of trees. There are some that drop their leaves in the autumn and others that don't. All my trees kept their leaves." Then the father says, "That sounds like fun. Where did you go on your outing?" "Expedition, Dad. We went to Umbe Abbey. We ate our packed lunches there and played in the adventure playground afterwards." Okay, at first his dad was asking the questions, but the response were coming in a closed style. So he kept on asking. Then the response came from in an open style. Okay, so far we have looked at two types of questions. Open question and closed question. Now there are other types of questions also. Probing or clarifying questions, reflective questions, direct questions, hypothetical questions. Hypothetical questions means you are giving a hypothetical example, a hypothetical situation. For example, I ask you, if your friend is upset with you and you want to reconcile with a friend, what will you do? So this is a hypothetical kind of a question. I'm asking you to think of a situation. For example, you can ask probing questions like, tell me more about that, about whatever you were listening to. What happened next? What did you next? How did that happen? Can you tell me how you mean? And what at that stage? This is when you were satisfied with your performance. Okay, these are certain examples of asking a clarifying or probing question. Okay, so you can use these phrases and add from the topic that you were listening to. Okay, are you finding this helpful? If you ask questions, it helps you to differentiate from the rest of the crowd. When someone asks question, all the heads turn up towards him. All the eyes are focused towards that person. Then there are reflective questions. Reflective questions or statements are really comments made before another type of question, which serve to soften the questioning as well as demonstrate to the speaker that they are being well and truly listened to. They typically constitute a short summary of what the other person has said and may also be considered as a type of paraphrasing. Okay, so there is an example, student. Uh, it's just that I am feeling really under pressure with the placement at the minute, and then I slept in this morning and just managed to make it here in time, even though I missed the bus and had to walk all the way in, and it was raining. Okay, then the speaker can ask, it sounds like you had a bad morning. You were saying that you are feeling very under pressure with the placement. In what way are you feeling under pressure? Then there are direct questions. When posing a direct question, you always use the name of the other person. You pose a question as an instruction. For example, you can ask, tell me, sir, tell me this, sir. Okay, you can use the name, or you can say, tell me, Jane, explain to me, John, describe to me, Jill. Describe to me this thing, tell me this, explain to me this. Okay, these are certain uh, examples of asking a direct question. Okay, tell me what kind of a question is this? I am asking a question. Did you get a chance to observe any consultations this afternoon? What kind of question is this?
Closed question.
Yes, very good. Close questions. Yeah. Tell me, Tom, what sorts of problems were people presenting with? What kind of question is this?
Open-ended.
Direct question.
Direct.
Direct question.
Yes, direct question. In direct question, you start off with tell me, explain to me, describe me. And if you're going to use if, the word if, then this becomes a hypothetical kind of a question. For example, what other points would you consider if your client was older? What other questions would you ask your patient if they presented with shortness of breath? If I could arrange an extension on your final report, how would you feel about presenting the workshop? If you had extra funding for the department, how would you improve on current practices? Okay, now I'm going to provide a checklist summary of the relative advantages of each type of question. Open questions are used for obtaining more information. Closed questions are used for specific information or a yes no response. Probing questions are used for added detail. Reflective questions are used to get the other back on track. Hypothetical questions are used to get the other to think and to reflect. In interview, you can expect hypothetical questions and open questions. Direct questions and instruction to get attention. So I hope you will now develop the habit of asking questions. I think in the last class I was telling you about giving presentation, how to give presentations. Questions? And I had discussed the techniques how you can resolve how resolve your anxiety. Can anybody call? In your final exam, I will be asking questions from the feedback topic and from the question how to ask questions. For example, I can ask you to tell to differentiate between open question and a closed question, or to differentiate between a direct question and a reflective question and its importance. Its use. Okay, so what you have to do is you have to know the what is the importance of giving feedback and how can you give feedback and what are the different types of questions and what are its uses. And what are the techniques to resolve your anxiety before a presentation. What are the techniques? You should accept that it is perfectly normal to feel nervous or anxious to some extent, okay? You should prepare well in order to resolve your anxiety. You should be realistic Are your standards too high? Take off the unnecessary pressure that comes from negative and unrealistic thoughts by challenging them and seeking the more rational view. The worst case scenario you imagine is highly improbable. So you should not imagine the negative aspect or the worst case. And if a less than positive outcome does occur, it is unlikely to be the end of the world. Okay, even if you were unable to perform that perfectly, it is not the end of the world. You can try next time. So you can also use relaxation exercises such as deep breathing. And you can also try behaving as if you are feeling confident. Enter the presentation in a very deliberate way. Rehearse your presentation, but also show, but also how you will stand and set your notes, change your slides, etc. Okay, you should always enter with a slight smile on your face and greet the audience enthusiastically. Use other non-verbal behaviors to appear confident. Okay.
अरे भाई मैम ही लेफ्ट हो गई
लैपटॉप खत्म हो गया क्या?
कॉल आया होगा मैम को शायद गलती से
हाँ,
लेफ्ट
हो
कर दी
सकता है।
होगी
फिर से तो करेक्ट हो जाएगी। मैं कोई ना
वेट भाई वेट
जेफ
जेफ को घर जाना है
क्या है भाई, मेरे से बात करके बताओ ना।
अब दूसरी डीपी देखो।
नहीं, इसी में हो।
अब्दुल समद की डीपी
अब दिख रही है
अनस भाई इन्फॉर्म कर दो, डेव को बता दो ना।
भाई मैम से पूछ लो कोई
भाई मैं हिंदी में ही बोला था ये बात।
No, don't leave the class, Sanya. Attendance has not been taken yet. Okay, so you can refer to the book that I have shared. I hope everyone has received that book.
Ma'am, can you please tell me one more time? It's my first class.
Yeah, I have shared a PDF of the book with the students. You can ask them. You can ask your CR. So, for those who have joined late, we began with an introduction about communication. What is communication? What are the different types of communication? Okay, like verbal and non-verbal communication. We discussed certain examples of verbal and non-verbal communication. Then we discussed oral communication and written communication. I have also shared a PDF of the communication notes. You can ask the concerned students. We discussed about intrapersonal communication, interpersonal communication, and then we discussed about group communication, and then we discussed about the barriers to a communication. What are the certain barriers? Then we discussed about co-pact factors and the benefits of non-verbal communication. So everything is there in the notes, and if you do not understand any specific thing, you can ask me. Okay. CRs, can you please take down the 10 minutes?
I'm done.
Okay.
Ma'am, done.
Okay, then you all can leave meet now.
Thank you, man.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.